I'm at home. I'm not in uni right now because it's Christmas. But I still don't have a microphone. I don't know when I'll ever get a microphone. But because of that, you might hear surround sound in the background. Don't be too bothered by that. Or rather, ignore it. It's not there, it's not real. It never happened. Thank you. So, I live near an airport. I'm not telling you guys which one. Try and guess. Try and guess. No, don't try and guess, please. Please don't try and guess. But if you hear taking off and landing, which you will often. Oh my god, I've just seen a red kite. What the hell? They're so pretty. But if you hear that, please just know I can't control that. I would if I could. You know, I'm just a uni student. I don't have the ability to go, wait, what was it? Kingdom of Heaven, the Leper King. I can't do that. I don't. And say stop. But they wouldn't stop. I'm thinking of doing like sort of reading scary stories because I'm not gonna lie, I fell down a rabbit hole and the entrance door was the comedy cartoon Haunted Hotel. Abaddon! Apostle of Abaddon. That's me. But yes, so I'm gonna be reading them from r/scary stories. Don't. No, you know what? Reddit is peak. So r/scary stories is what I'm gonna be reading it off of, and I'm looking in the true stories section, and I already found one. Scariest experience of my life. True story. Guys, let's hope I sleep well tonight. Okay. I'm reading off my phone, by the way, so if I look down, that's what I'm doing. Even though I look down often anyways, but that's what I'm doing. When I worked for a security company, I used to have to do nightly rounds in an old dilapidated building, which used to be a newspaper printing press and journalist offices. Usually, I would do these rounds around 3 or 4 a.m. The building was 5 stories, and on each level there were small metal cylinders attached to walls and doorways, which necessitated the usage of a deji stick. The hell is it? Oh, deggy? Deji stick. That's what we're calling it. Which I'd press onto the points which registered to the main office to prove I was doing all 5 floors, end to end. Some of the building was lit as during... It was lit! Okay, some of the building was lit as during the day workers would be inside servicing the electric panels or tearing apart floors. When I did these rounds, nobody but me would be in the building. It had a cold chill inside at the time from the winter air. Walking through a large abandoned building in dead silence, I admit, was somewhat creepy. The smell was old and stale. Sometimes I'd hear strange noises, but nothing too serious. I felt generally comfortable in the building, except on one floor, floor 3. One end of the floor was lit by an overhead light around the staircase, but the other end, which stretched a good 10 or 15 yards. The hell is that in meters, guys? What's 15 yards in meters? What's 15 yards in kilometers? A good 10 or 15 yards was pitch black. Whenever I'd make my way down that hallway, which you could only go left to another hallway, to which eventually led to an open room with short segmented cubicle walls, previously an office floor, and on the other side dark open bathrooms, which looked like something out of Silent Hill. We love Silent Hill. I always felt uneasy. Extremely uneasy. That feeling some get when they say it felt like I was being watched. Oh my god, I actually get that a lot when I'm trying to sleep. In this very room. They're listening. In this very room, yeah, you know, sleep paralysis. What would happen? I actually had to stop facing my closet and start facing my window. So, you know, whatever's looking at me through that window, yeah, I can see you. Now we're both looking at each other. Now we're both paralyzed. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, that was me. One night while making my way through the darkness of that floor, I felt something touch the back of my neck. I swatted at it, thinking maybe a spider landed on me. Ah! So that's the true horror story, that's the true ghost story. Stop there. Spider landed on me. That's actually happened to me before. Twice. I was lying on my mum's bed. A spider fell from the sky onto my face. This big, guys. This big. Second time, I was trying to make a vegan meal for my family. I was like, what, 14? I was like, veganism, the environment. And then I found out I was deficient. But anyways, I made a vegan meal, and to get to one of the top shelves, I had to climb on the counter. Then I started feeling something tickling my neck. Oh, why is it fluffy? What is that? I look in the mirror from, look over my shoulder in the mirror. There's a tiger, a spider like this big on my back. I actually had to run around the house and shake it off like this. Traumatic. But anyways, I swatted at it, thinking that maybe a spider had landed on me, but no, nothing there. I shone my flashlight everywhere and found nothing. The hair stood up on my neck, and I made a run for it. I looked back behind me, ignoring the final deggy point I had to hit, which involved me walking the full stretch of the hallway, through a door into another creepy dark room, hitting my point and going back to the eerie hallway, and finally back to the light. And swear I saw a shadow mass moving about near those dreaded bathrooms. Later on that night, I went to evaluate a guard at another site who used to work in that building 4 years ago, when it was functioning with employees. I started to tell him about that building. I said to him, I get weird vibes on, and he immediately interjected with the 3rd floor. I was dumbfounded, and my creep meter shot so high it broke the glass. Lol, that's real. I'm gonna start using that creep meter. I asked him what he meant by that before revealing my story. He told me that a woman had committed suicide on that floor. Her husband left her, and she got up from her desk, walked to the window, and leaped out, landing like a splattered pancake in the parking lot. Not long after, the woman on that floor refused to stay past 4, and they all avoided the bathrooms. They made claims of hearing voices and seeing shadows out of their peripheral, among other things. He used to do the rounds in that building during working hours, but one night he stayed late and did rounds after dark, when everyone had left. He felt the same vibes, and he also claimed that on that night he shined a flashlight down in the direction of the bathrooms and reportedly, saw a tall black figure, slightly hunched over, standing in the hallway, back towards him, peeking over its shoulder. He bolted out and never went to that floor again, or at least near the bathrooms. To give some detail on why the bathrooms were so eerie, they were both next to each other and doorless. When I would shine my light to the pitch darkness, I received back the glare of mirrors with stains splashed all over them, creepy porcelain white sinks, a white tiled floor, and shadows bouncing off of the walls. If you haven't played it, I'd recommend going on YouTube and watching a clip of the hallway bathroom scene from Outlast 2. The corridors, we're not doing that, guys, by the way. Sorry, editing is hard, and this is already going to be a lot. From Outlast 2, the corridors and bathrooms are strikingly similar to what I'm describing here. Just those images alone will give you goosebumps. Now, I knew psychologically I'd be fucked having to do rounds at this building, but I couldn't avoid it. Our company was contracted to have a guard walk the grounds twice a day. I got stuck with the night rounds. Bro, I'd be begging to switch. Jacob, please! Please, switch me, Jacob! Who is Jacob? My co-worker. My co-worker who happens to be 3 years younger than me and ambitious, and yet he still somehow has overtaken me in the rankings because he's more sociable than I am and everyone likes him more. That's Jacob. Exactly, yeah. So you can imagine my next visit I was not looking forward to. I went on for several days with nothing eventful occurring. However, that feeling of dread wouldn't subside, only strengthen. Finally, one night I woke up the courage and said out loud, "If anyone is in here, make your presence known now! Stop fucking with me!" Nothing. I continued down the dark hallway through the door into that dark room at the end, flashlight in hand, hit my point and re-entered the hallway passing the bathrooms and going to turn right into the dark, open cubicle area. Suddenly the temperature plummeted rapidly and I froze. I can't explain it, but I got this sinking feeling in me that something was right behind me. Now I know that typically when people give their accounts seeing ghosts or demons... Demons? You mean Abaddon? You mean my son and king and prince Abaddon? Okay, it's usually just tricks of the light or their own mind seeing something that isn't really there. But mentally, they somehow contort... Right, that's a lot of gaslighting on people you don't know. Relax. What if they were there? Mentally, they somehow contort reality to fit their skewed beliefs. Okay, brother. But they're seeing something which is not there. Well, I've had that happen to me before, and this was not one of those instances. Okay, so he was self-reporting then. That's fine. Well, yeah, okay, that's fine. I was completely awake, engaged, and lucid. Hell, I'd never even really believed in the paranormal or the demonic. That's real. I also don't believe in demons. Only Abaddon. Only Abaddon, my queenie. My queenie. I was never religious. Anytime I thought I saw a ghost or spirit, I was able to conjure up a reasonable explanation. Shadow, creaking of pipes, house settling, dog barking outside, etc. Believe me, I've tried over and over to rationalize what I'm about to tell you, but I just can't. I was as much a skeptic as any scientist on Earth. What I was about to confront was absolute, formed, and not by any means a trick of the light or peripheral movement. I started to walk faster, praying to reach the end of the darkness. My gut told me, don't turn around, don't turn around. But I had to. Bro, never read anything about Orpheus. Don't look back! Worst thing you can do is look back. But I had to. I couldn't wonder anymore. So I turned. I looked behind me into the darkness. I shuddered immediately and jumped back. What I saw was a black, deep black figure, darker than the darkest corner of the floor, by far, with frizzy hair, all with arms much longer than a man's, and in the quickness of the situation, what looked like long fingernails or claws. At first I couldn't believe it. My rational brain deduced that I was staring at a tall homeless man or woman hiding in the building. I even called out, hello? I was frozen in place, my heart about to punch a hole through my breastbone. Real. This thing, still and silent, bent down, got on all fours, and started running at me full speed. And the way it was taking its strides in that split second was short, very fast movements, like a crippled dog chasing the mailman. I turned and sprinted so fast toward the exit door that I fell forward, slamming myself into the door. I opened it to run out, but turned around one last time and shone my flashlight directly back where I'd encountered this thing. There was a beam that ran from the floor to the ceiling with a breaker box attached to it, and the door to the box was flapping back and forth, making banging sounds each time it hit the beam. I watched until it stopped. Something had slapped it. You could deduce the wind from me running could have caused this, but it was a good 15 feet away when I passed it, and on the opposite side of the beam. This could have happened. After this, I still had to do the rounds on this building. I had no choice. It was my job. But from then on, I wore headphones, putting music on full blast, and I'd sprint from end to end. That's so real. Weeks later, I stopped in the darkness and called out for whatever it was to leave, that I refused to communicate with it any further. To this day, since this happened, I've not encountered anything I'd call paranormal. But that night, that thing, I'll never forget it. It was real, it was full of hate, and I'm convinced it wanted to hurt or kill me. Right, so let's give her the benefit of the doubt here. Full of hate, probs, kill or hurt you. We don't know that. We don't know that. But full of hate. Yes. So, that was the story for today. I hope you guys liked it. Trying something new. What would I do in that situation? I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like that girl. Actually, I tried to watch this anime, Mieruko-chan, or something like that. The girl who can see ghosts. And she basically acts like she can't see them. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. But you see, I had to stop because there was just too much Guna shit, and I couldn't keep up with it. Why all that Guna shit? Why? So that is not getting finished. But I'm back on my D Greyman and Black Butler grind. Me rewatching Black Butler, which is also problematic. But guys, I watched it when I was 8. In my mind, Sebastian can do no wrong. And CL can do no wrong. But Grell. I like Grell, but I also hate Grell after rewatching season 1 and seeing how she treated Madame Red. That made me so upset. Like, I'm trying to think, why did we as a fandom redeem Grell so quick? No redemption. No redemption! No redemption! But anyways, that was it. You know, I'll see you guys later, maybe. You know, the goal for 2025 was to post 3 videos. I didn't do that. But 2026, I promise.